origin of Team OP?
No,
None?
it is. I want you to see me, Fred. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh God. Oh God.
My dog's only. Need more dogs like me.
It looks like it's.
Yeah, dog. My guy right here.
Oh God.
Finish. Wait. How I feel. Let him fight, 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 let him fight. Good stuff, man. Come on, Chris and I started Optimal Performance 10 plus years ago. I think it's almost 11 years ago now. I was managing a medical practice, performance spine and sports medicine. Chris was obviously the general manager over here at Optimal. And we were kind of collaborating on the fact of like, how do we use our services over there, you know, massage, therapy, chiropractor, keeping people healthy. And how do we apply that to the athletes that we have at the gym? And it started off just with like gym memberships and like lifestyle clients or bodybuilding clients that Chris would have. And then it turned into a, you know, do we create a team from this, which is where we drew the Optimal, obviously, from Optimal Sport. And then we drew the performance from Performance Spine and Sports Medicine and became Optimal Performance.
When I was accepted to Worlds, and I told Chris, but I'll never forget the look on his face when I told him that I accepted the invitation, and he just bear hugged me and lifted me off the ground. I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be competing at a world competition and at my age. And the fact that I placed third, I didn't even know it at the last lift, and it was a 253-pound deadlift that put me in third place and on the podium, and that was such an honor to represent the United States team in Worlds.
So you just got your international bid?
Yes. Yeah. The other day, and going to St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, in the beginning of August to represent the U.S. national team in 74 kilo class, M2. To be on the team, I've been thinking about it for 3-4 years now at least. It's just pretty cool. I went over to Powerlifting America, and last year I finished second. Was nominated as a reserve athlete for the world team, and that didn't come true, but I learned a lot, and it kind of like sharpened me a little bit and made me more determined, and that's a good thing.
So as team captain, what is one thing you want members of the team, new or old, to know?
Just try to work on being an example for people to follow or like help out, and try to understand like all the ins and outs of this stuff, and like again, all the ups and downs of powerlifting, all the, you know, one lift doesn't make the whole, if it didn't go right or it did go right, try to stay in the middle and try to keep even keel, and coach is like, you know, helping me with that, like to set the example for everyone, be the example. You know, we have a lot of new members of the team, and there are a lot of them, I can see the nerves are in them, and just keep it fun. Don't make it like it's a job, it's fun. It's powerlifting's fun. You're with your friends and people, and you meet new people, you meet new friends, and everybody's not against each other. You're all like on your side and all helping each other, and that's what it's all about.
Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, it started in 2008, and he asked me at the very first thing is what were my goals, and my goals were to have pretty arms, pretty legs, to wear a pretty dress. And he said, I can do that for you. That was the beginning of our journey. And then it came to the end of the summer, and he says, you know, I'm going back to school. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And he goes, we can train in my dorm room. And I went like, oh, okay. But he had a suite. So he had a living room that had all this stuff in it. And I would go down to Penn for an hour and work out. And then I traveled with him, I think 5 different gyms, because I thought, I can't do this by myself. I have to have accountability. But I said to myself, I think optimal will be the last place. And it has turned out to be a wonderful experience with the people, the powerlifting team, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. What made me stick with him? His focus and his responsibility. And it then in turn made me responsible for me, and then accountability. Family members, friends says, can't you do this by yourself now? And I just said, no, I can't, because I need Chris and the team and everybody to help me, to coach me, to strive for my goals.
I have been at Optimal since 2015, a long time, and I have trained with a number of individuals, and I really just grew to love the sport and grew to love what it encompassed. And this year I turned 40, and I really decided to lock in and just felt so embraced and supported by Optimal's team that I figured, why not? And it's honestly been probably one of the best decisions I've made.
That one picture of Chris and I wearing our belts was like the first meeting that we had about it. He was just happened to walk over there and gave me this like pronged belt when I first started, and it was all like I had to like have a panic attack every time I got out of it when I was powerlifting, before he bought me my first SBD lever belt. But yeah, that's where we kind of came up with the idea of how we were going to combine the two, and then we started treating the athletes over there. Like they would get like massages and chiropractic care, and if they had injuries, we could hook them up with a premium physical therapist to get them back on the platform or on the stage faster. Chris would come over, we got to take care of Coach too, and that's kind of how it all started. And then in exchange for that, I started training with Chris, and cut to a decade later, there's nobody else that I trust with my life than Chris. When the team first started, we didn't have, it's paradise back there now. The Florida Keys, if you will, so many kilo plates, Eleiko racks, stuff like that, or ER racks, I should say. He's working on an Eleiko rack. But we were deadlifting in the middle of the floor back there in some black rig rack standing in the middle of the gym, pound plates, just a ton of, it was a completely different program that Chris was into. He was writing the Gilbertrophy program at the time, so we were all kind of into that. And then at one point there was one ER rack and then the Green Machine combo rack, and you had 10 athletes trying to use these two places in rotation just to get an SBD in, and just to go from that to the absolute paradise we have back there now is just, it's a testament to how much Chris thinks about this every day and how much all of this is planned. And he just never stops. He's always thinking about how can we make it better? How can we make it bigger? Up until the point of having a meet here. When Chris and I were talking about combining Optimal Performance, having a powerlifting meet over here wasn't even in my brain, but it was probably in Chris's, because it's how far he just, thinks about everything to the max. So,
Brian,
Yes.
you have been voted Rookie of the Year. This is your acceptance speech.
Wow.
Or
Wow. First off, thank you to the Academy. Rookie of the Year. Wow. When I first came in here, man, I was just somebody coming off the street. Like, I did not know what powerlifting really was. To be considered and even chosen as Rookie of the Year is really cool, just because of, first, what I've accomplished in that time. Been in this gym for a year and a half now. Been with Chris for 5 months, but it feels longer than that. And um, thinking about just like the people I've met and uh, all the relationships I've created and that have grown since I started here, it's pretty cool. I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. Um, uh, Still trying to hit PRs. We're gonna get the squat right, but I at least feel like I'm on the path to uh, something pretty cool and hopefully something pretty great. And as much as I have an affinity and love for my New York sports teams, go Knicks. I just got, I'm OP, baby.
I really feel like the gym has kind of watched me grow up. I started going when I was still playing tennis and kind of just training for that, more sports specific stuff. And at the time, I was super shy. I'm definitely a little awkward, maybe still awkward, but not shy these days. I have a lot of memories of like Chris under the bar squatting, kind of like lip syncing songs at me and like shouting my name across the gym to try to get me to come out of my shell. And I would kind of like tuck away, but it was cool that, someone that I looked up to kind of noticed me. And he kind of like planted the seed about powerlifting, because I've never heard of the sport or seen the sport before in my life. So I kind of reflect on those memories fondly. But in general, the gym has just been a very welcoming space, kind of like a little bit raising me, through like late middle school and then high school. And I'd always come to members of OP, especially Chris and JoJo, about like advice and like little high school drama and stuff. And it was cool to have people that I could connect with about something that I loved, which was lifting, but be able to talk to people that I wouldn't otherwise know or hang out with, and have meaningful relationships and friendships and community with them, even though I was only a high school kid and these people were like adults with like real work lives and stuff like that. But I was never treated as like the annoying kid that everyone needs to ignore. I felt very included. So yeah, I mean, it's like very much a third space, and that it's a part of my life and community and people that I look forward to seeing every day. Obviously, now that I'm in college, I'm not at OP as often, but it's always fun when I get to work out with the team, and it feels like old times, and hopefully I'll be able to incorporate that more.
Y'all know I'm a yapper. Powerlifting has been a journey. It's had ups and downs, as far as like getting to a meet, warming up, and injuring myself. And that was tough, but like I said, the support and everything to come back from that and have to stick it out and have the people around you that are gonna get you through it is not. It's a one-person sport, but it's not a one-person sport. Like the support means everything. Then qualifying for nationals after that and getting injured again, but still having the people around me that made me even want to go and watch everybody else still compete. So like that in itself says a lot. And then obviously I did compete and have qualified for nationals the past 4 years now, 3-4 years now. So it's just always a great time. Like the traveling, the leading up to it, the excitement of it all, seeing everybody that we don't normally see. And I'm just so proud to be there with Optimal Performance. Like, everybody knows who we are for good reason. And it's just the command that we have in a humble way. It's because of the people on the team.
You are a 3-time national champion and a 2-time world record holder. Can you tell us about your powerlifting journey?
I don't know if he remembers this, but I told him was, if I'm gonna do powerlifting, I want you to make me the best. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. And that is toxic. I understand that. Now as an athlete, I know that's not the mentality, but it has helped me somehow. Like when I started it with my journey. So I think just like the championships have been like a result of like work on both of us. I remember when I first started at the gym, I was like in my fitness journey, I guess. I wasn't really powerlifting. I wasn't thinking about powerlifting at all. And then Chris like started telling me about it, and he started like asking me to get into it, and I just didn't want to. I think it was like for a full like 6-7 months that he was like, hey, let's do a session. I'm like, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't really want to, I don't want to get fat, is what I told him, I think, because like powerlifters are fat. So I'm just like, no, I'm in my fitness, you know, world, leave me alone. And then I think it was after that pandemic year that the gym reopened. I was just like, you know what, let's give it a chance. Let's see what it is. So I did a session with them, and I kind of liked how it felt. Like, you know, like he was explaining everything, how it worked, like the squat form, like the deadlift. I still have my first vid somewhere. They're so cute. But yeah, he was explaining everything, and I just kind of was like, okay, I guess we could do this. It's been not just me, but him, us just being on the same page with like the goals that we have for each meet that we do. So yeah, I mean, that's what it is as of right now.
I met Chris when I was 15, and he wasn't my direct coach. He is the person who got me to my coach, and it was specifically for track, so obviously a very different sport. So even like at 15, I knew who Chris was, and I knew some of his athletes because they would scream in the gym while they were training for bodybuilding. And he was very friendly and welcoming, but I didn't get to know him as a coach. I just knew he was a coach, and at the time he was over the other trainers there, so I knew that he was like the head trainer, you know? Now knowing him and being able to work with him day in, day out for many hours a day, I know who he is as a coach, and I had the opportunity to kind of grow from more than just an athlete to being someone who's in their professional life learning from him, right? So for me, yes, he is a coach and he's a supervisor, but he's really a mentor in a sport that I really hadn't no clue about. I mean, even bodybuilding, I knew about it as an athlete, but I didn't know about it. So my relationship with Chris has been a ton of learning and growing as an athlete, as a person, and as a professional. There's a lot that I admire about him, which is why when Em and I first decided to form this documentary, it was really out of admiration of only being here for 5 years and seeing how much it has grown and how much it has changed, but also acknowledging that this is something so incredibly special in the sport and in the community, because, and I tell him this all the time, but this doesn't exist. This team, this local element, this grassroots growth doesn't really happen in the sport. Usually a coach is somewhere doing e-coaching and the athlete's competing elsewhere, and that coach might not even show up for them. But to have access to someone who truly cares and gives up so much of their time, like truly breathes it, lives it, eats and sleeps it, that access is rare, and the energy in which he brings to it, I feel, is even more rare. He's truly a bulldog, for us, for the team, but for the sport in general, and his want to make the sport better is seen in everything that he does.
3 words to describe Chris Gilbert.
This is tough.
Can I get a countdown in 3,
Oh, you're
2,
hey!
Supercomputer.
Passionate,
Discipline,
Humble,
Strong,
Strategic,
relentless,
Observant.
Life-changing man.
Mentor.
genuine,
generous,
confident,
accountable,
knowledgeable,
patient,
Discipline.
Sweetie.
and handsome.
kind.
caring,
and cerebral.
supportive.
brother.
Generous.
So, optimal performance really started back in 2015 when we signed up for state championships. So, Lauren Roseman and I signed up for state championships, and we both did well. We didn't know all that was involved, but the meet went well. And a few months later, other members of the team competed, and then we had a crew of 5 go compete at nationals, and it was awesome. We got our first national champion. Don Shirk was an M4, so he was our first national champion. I got 33rd. I think I bumped up to 32nd after somebody DQ'd because of a drug test. Okay. But yeah, we didn't really know what we didn't know, and I think that was great because if we did, we might have been intimidated and it maybe never would have started in the first place. But we just threw ourselves into it, had a great time at states, went to nationals, made a bunch of mistakes, but had a great time there. And 11 years later, we're still showing up to nationals with a nice team.
When did you realize you wanted to have your first meet? Host your first meet, I should say.
It's not about like trying to improve on anything that anybody is doing at any other meets. I think the local meet directors do a great job. I think that I really enjoy all of the local meets that we go to. But there is something to be said about like the space that we have and me wanting to share it with everybody. So our athletes train here, and I think that that's cool, but I also want to show it and share it with other athletes. And I think that when I think back to that first meet in 2015, or a big first meet for a lot of our people was in 2016, they all did that because they did it together, and that made it more comfortable because they had each other. And what better way than to get a bunch of people to have their first dip into the sport than to make it as comfortable as possible. So having it here at the gym, a bunch of people doing it together, I think that is an awesome benefit. But then it's also about like sharing this space, showing off what we have, and just trying to think of the powerlifting bingo card, right? So competing, coaching, meet directing, reffing, there's a bunch of different ways to be involved in powerlifting, and I think that this is one that I want to unlock for me personally, but then also for the gym and the other trainers and coaches. So we are on our way.
Ready? Cheese.
I'm glad we did it.